Hello and welcome to Tom's Watch Reviews. I'm your host Tom, and today I'm going to give you a closer look at the Fiyta Aeronautics Mars 500 limited edition. Let's go! Okay, so this is going to be something special today. It's the Fiyta Aeronautics Mars 500 limited edition. It's limited to 520 pieces of this specific model. For those of you not familiar with Fiyta, they are a Chinese manufacturer of automatic watches, and they have provided at some point the Chinese taikonauts with watches, and the model actually used by the Chinese spacefaring industry was the Fiyta Space Master. Now this is the Aeronautics. It looks pretty similar to the Space Master, but they gave this model the orange color, the orange subdial, and also the colors on the stopwatch here on top. Other than that, it looks pretty similar to the Space Master. Now this Aeronautics is a commemorative edition for a Mars mission, a simulated Mars mission of the Chinese space industry. And for 520 days, they basically locked up a crew to simulate a flight to Mars, which was scheduled for 520 days. So they said it took 520 days to fly from from Earth to Mars, and so they simulated that. And for every day, they produced one of these watches. So there were 520 watches of this, and this specific one is number 461 out of 520. Fiyta, to my knowledge, does not provide the Chinese taikonauts with watches anymore, but at some point they did, and this is something, well, that at least I don't see every day. So I thought I'm going to give you a look at it, and as I move it around here, it has some specialties on it that I did not expect when I first unpacked this watch. So let's look at it. It's made completely out of titanium. So the bezel, the case back, the crowns, as well as the bracelet is all made out of titanium. So it's really lightweight. I'm going to put it on the scale for you here in just a minute so we can see the weight, but it's really lightweight. We have a double fold clasp. It opens like that. You can take it off the pillow here. And if we look at the case back, it has a really nice case back too. It says limited edition. And then I would assume it says Mars 500 here. I can't read Chinese, obviously. I would assume it says Mars 500 there, but maybe if you're fluent in Chinese, maybe you can let me know in the comments what it actually says here. And then the number right here on top, number 491, actually, not 61, 491 out of 520. It's a really nice case back, and it's not engraved, I'll say. I think it's minted, like they mint coins. I think this is minted too, and it's pretty nice. Feels pretty good. Screw down, as you can see. Let's close the clasp here really quick so I can take a look at that. It's really low profile, and it wears really nice. You almost don't feel it, mainly because it's super lightweight. This watch. It's also pretty hard to find any specifications for this watch. The Fiyta website, you can't find it. I was looking at it with the reference number. I couldn't find it on the Fiyta website, which is pretty odd. They have the non-commemorative version on their website, but this specific model does not appear on the Fiyta website. So I looked at other websites to get some specifications out of it. The case diameter here is kind of hard to measure because of the bezel. Is 44 millimeters, and it's reasonably thick for an automatic movement. It's a proprietary Fiyta in-house movement. At least I could not find anything else. All the third-party websites selling this watch refer to it as Fiyta Caliber BPH 28,000, which stands obviously for beats per hour. It's a high beat movement, but it doesn't says actually what caliber or what type of movement it is. It's an automatic movement with chronograph function. Gives you a 12-hour chronograph, and yeah, it has a sapphire crystal glass, which actually looks pretty nice. And the overall quality of the watch is pretty good. Like, I could not see anything that's off except for the chronometer. If I reset it here, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, it's actually off by 2 ticks counterclockwise position, so it does not goes to the exact 12 o'clock position. It's off by 2 ticks, and I just timed it here, and I was able to move the second hand 2 ticks forward to get it exactly to the 12 o'clock position. Other than that's the only imperfection that I was able to find anywhere on this watch. It's really pretty well made. And yeah, 2 things that are standing out as odd to me is the bezel. It's a rotating bezel, 120 click, operates super smooth, but there are no indices whatsoever on the bezel. So I mean, it's pretty useless, as you can move it, but you don't know where you are. So it's just an optical gimmick or something that you can put in your specifications. Well, we have 120 click unidirectional bezel, but other than that, I mean, you can't use it really for anything. The Space Master actually has some markings on the bezel, and I don't know why they didn't put it on this one, because as I said, I mean, what are you going to do with this bezel except for rotating it when you're bored? Well, other than that, I don't think you can really use it for anything. And the second thing, we have a screw down crown, but only 50 meters water resistance, which in my opinion is probably because of these 2 buttons that control the chronometer. They wobble around a little bit, and it's probably because of that we did not get any more water resistance than 50 meters. Nevertheless, we have a screw down crown, but it screws down to the right hand side. So to unscrew it, you have to screw it to the left hand side. I'm sorry, to the right hand side. To unscrew it, you have to screw it to the right hand side, or as you can see, clockwise. And you can unscrew it, and that also winds the movement. And we have a date function here too, as you can see, but instead of the day function that we're used to see right left to the date window, we have AM PM setting, which is, it's a nice setting. It's a nice gimmick, because when you're in space, you don't know if it's morning or evening, so you can easily read that on your watch if it's night or day. And then you pull it to the first position. That's what gives us the date function. Operates very smooth, gives a little bit of feedback, and then to the other side there's no function there at all. So you can't set AM or PM by moving the crown. You actually have to move the hands and set the time, so you can actually get it set between AM or PM. And as you can see, there it goes. It takes quite a while, so it takes a few hours to change between AM and PM, and then the date as well. So you push it back in, and then to screw it down, you move it counterclockwise, and it screws down. It's pretty odd. Like, it took me a while to get used to that. To screw it down in the opposite direction. Actually, the manual does not mention this, so I had to find this out myself. And at first I didn't know is it a screw down crown or not. I tried to pull it out, it wouldn't work, and you try to unscrew it, and obviously you'll go counterclockwise to unscrew it, and it wouldn't do anything. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, look, I can move it this way. I found out it's a screw down crown, but the threads are threaded the other direction. So that strikes me as odd. To operate the chronometer, just one push here. It has a nice little ring, rubber ring, and you also have rubber on the crowns. This one with a little Fiyta logo. Don't ask me what that is or in what direction this is supposed to point. It's just a little marking here, and then red and black rubber markings on the buttons. So you press it, gives a nice feedback on the push, and then you set off the second hand on its way around the bezel. And to stop it, you click it again, gives a little bit less feedback, but still there is not a dead button that gives you some feedback, and then you have the flyback back home. But as I said, mine does not go to 60 exactly. The watch does has some loom. I'll give you a loom shot here in a minute. I'm going to get out the scale. I'm going to do a loom shot to look at this watch. Again, overall, the bracelet, it's really nice to wear. It has not pulled a single hair out of my arm. It's really nice, really well made, polished accents here, as you can see. Looks pretty good, and compared to my Citizen Nighthawk that I'm wearing right now, like, this bracelet constantly pulls my hairs. This bracelet has not pulled a single hair out of my arm, and I really like that. So let me put it on the wrist here really quick for you, so you can see it. Let's put the Nighthawk over here. And also, you do not have any diverse extension on the, I mean, it's a space watch. Why would they give you a diverse extension, right? Would still be nice if you have some type of micro adjustment, and all you can do is take out the parts of the bracelet. So no micro adjusters here. Obviously, I adjusted it for my wrist. I have about an 8-inch wrist. And there we go, on the wrist. Wears really nice. Gives a nice contour. The lugs give a nice contour to my arm. And overall, wears pretty nice. Super lightweight. Okay, now let me get out the scale and charge the loom for you, and I'll give you a loom shot. Okay, I got the scale out. It's set to 0. As you can see, it shows grams. And first I'm going to put my Citizen Nighthawk so you have a reference. And it comes in at 151 grams. And now let's put the Fiyta. Let's see how much we have. 133. So now keep in mind, the Citizen is a quartz movement and the Fiyta is an automatic movement. And I think that's pretty significant. Almost 20 grams on an automatic watch, which comes in a complete titanium format. Like, as I said earlier, everything's made out of titanium on this watch. And you can feel it. It's lightweight, and I just showed it to you. 20 grams difference between an automatic watch and a quartz watch. I think that's pretty significant. So let's move on to the loom shot. Okay, here we go. With the loom shot, I just charged it a little bit with this Harbor Freight flashlight. It's not a UV flashlight, so don't expect too much, and the lume is not super crazy. Just charging it here a little bit more. And let me go turn off the light. And there it is, a little bit of lume that we get. It's not too crazy. What stands out, as you can see on top, on the chronograph on the that shows the minute, there are two markings on there that you can use to time spacewalks, and these also have lume. And that's pretty significant, I think. It's a pretty good idea. Also, the second hand of the chronograph does have lume. Let me start it here for you. There it goes. So the second hand of the chronograph has a little bit of lume on it. And yeah, a little bit of lume after fully charging it. I wore it for a day or two, and during regular light conditions you don't get any lume. You really have to charge it with a flashlight, and as you can see, it's fading already. Okay, so to wrap this review up, I paid $500 for this Fiyta watch, and in my opinion, for an all titanium watch, including the bracelet, for chronograph complication, a date complication, and AM/PM complication, I think that's a pretty fair price. And just similar to any micro brand, I'm not very likely to run into someone wearing this same watch, or even a Fiyta. I like to wear it. I think it wears pretty well. It has its own distinctive features, like the bezel, as I mentioned, and the main crown that tightens counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Yeah, also the red band, I like that, and I'm pretty happy with this watch. The overall quality is good, and what I also like, for a Chinese watch company, they don't try to copy anything with that. It doesn't look like an Omega or like a Bulova, anything that you would consider as a space watch. I think they went with their own unique design. I really like that. And yeah, it's a fun watch. It's fun to wear. It's a good size for me on my wrist. And I hope you like seeing something special, if you want to call it special. I think it's out of the ordinary. It's something you don't see every day. That's why I wanted to bring this watch to you and to give you this review. Okay, thank you for watching Tom's Watch Reviews, and I hope to see you with the next review.